If you're looking for a powerful computer that can be used for gaming, video editing, or general everyday use while being energy efficient, compact, and flexible, then an all-in-one computer, or AIO for short, is for you. Of course, buying such a highly integrated system is a bit more difficult than buying your average desktop computer. And why? You're buying a computer and a monitor in one, and because of the limited options for upgrading the system later, buying wisely up front is critical. Choosing the right AIO is more like buying a laptop than a desktop. There are all kinds of AIO PCs for all kinds of purposes. In this video, we'll talk about different all-in-one PCs with different advantages and disadvantages and what you should look out for. After hearing from us, you can decide which PC is best for your needs. But before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to our Bright Hustle channel below. Once you've done that, let's get started. First and foremost, you should know what to look for in an AIO system. The first thing you should look for is the display, the heart of any AIO. Some less expensive AIO PCs have screens smaller than 23 inches, but these are better suited for very cramped spaces like classrooms or dorms. If you're much smaller, you can just buy a laptop with a big screen. What you really need is a screen with a diagonal of at least 23 inches, and bigger is better if you can set it up. The biggest all-in-ones we've seen so far have curved 34-inch screens. With a screen size of 23 inches or more, a native resolution of at least 1920 by 1080 pixels, aka full screen HD, is almost guaranteed, and it's even higher on larger screens. In many cases, that's up to 4K to 3840 by 2160 pixels for a traditional screen, or 3440 by 1440 pixels for an ultra-wide screen. With such high resolutions, you can display multiple windows side by side or view a table 3 to 4 pages wide. If you're a multitasker, a larger screen is all the better. Touchscreen or non-touchscreen, it's a matter of personal preference. The tiled Start interface in Windows 10 was designed with touchscreens in mind, making it easier than ever to interact with the various apps. While this can be very handy for families, a touchscreen isn't 100% necessary for everyone, especially if you want to use the all-in-one like a traditional computer. On the other hand, if you're considering an Apple iMac all-in-one, the decision is taken away from you. Mac OS doesn't take advantage of touchscreens, and no Macs do. But don't worry, scrolling with the mouse or touchpad is as fast or faster than on a touchscreen, because an AIO requires you to reach for the screen and take one hand off the keyboard or mouse. When you fill forms out online, switching between text entry fields, pull-down menus, and checkboxes, you can enter data faster with a keyboard and mouse. If you plan to use the touchscreen at least 50% of the time, look for systems with screens that tilt horizontally or nearly horizontally. This allows you to use the system like a large tablet and not have to constantly extend your arm to operate the touchscreen. Think about using an ATM, for example. The vertical screen is fine for a 90-second transaction, but after 10 minutes or more, it would get tiring. This is a simple matter of ergonomics. Speaking of vertical orientation, the occasional AIO comes with a stand that lets you rotate the screen to portrait mode. In portrait mode, you can display content like web pages and appropriately shaped images without wasting space on the sides of the screen. This is a boon for web developers and layout artists who are still working on print publications. If you're interested in portrait mode, make sure the system has an auto-rotate feature. Otherwise, you'll have to change display settings every time you pan the screen. However, panning the screen in portrait mode is much more common with standalone desktop monitors than with AIOs. And then there are the processors. PC manufacturers typically update AIOs more slowly than their other offerings, so many of the devices shown here use slightly older generations of processors, such as Intel's 10th generation, Coffee Lake, and 11th generation, Tiger Lake for mobile devices and Rocket Lake for desktops. By 2022, more systems may be equipped with Intel's 12th generation processors, Alder Lake, but most have so far opted for older Intel or AMD alternatives for reasons of price and power consumption. Any modern processor will help when editing photos or videos or running intensive media processes in the background while you work on various tasks in the foreground. AMD's Ryzen French fries have appeared in some of all-in-one devices in the form of Ryzen 5 and lower power Ryzen 3 processors. Some of our favorites are Ryzen models, and the companies are showing up in highly regarded high-performance laptops, but in general, Intel CPUs dominate the market AIO PC. In Macs, Apple's latest AIO, the 24-inch iMac based on the Apple M1 processor, is the harbinger of where things are headed for the iconic Mac. Do not forget about the RAM either. An 8GB serving of DDR4 RAM should be the minimum amount of system memory you'll settle for. We have not seen a 12th generation Intel CPU based AIO yet, but when we do, some will certainly support the newer DDR5 memory standard. Even if 4GB is enough for the simplest tasks, you will feel the disadvantages of such a company with lower capacity faster. However, with 8GB or 16GB, you can keep dozens of tabs open in your browser and still have room for a demanding program like Photoshop. And 16GB is the recommended minimum for professional content creation use. As for storage capacity, opt for a trunk drive with a capacity of at least 1 TB if you want to store videos on your PC. Videos clog up hard drives faster than almost any other file type. If you download a lot, you should opt for a 2 TB hard drive. The only problem is that a traditional spinning drive is relatively slow when booting and loading applications. If you'd rather have a faster system that's more of a speed demon than a file store, look for an AIO that uses a solid-state drive as its trunk drive. If you store all your files on a centralized network-attached storage device or in the cloud, any SSD or hard drive with 500GB or more should suffice. That's enough for the operating system and a handful of frequently used programs. Now that you know the details and decide which parts are important to you, we can look around for some PCs. HP Pavilion 24 All-in-One. This 23.8-inch HP All-in-One also has a touchscreen with a special configuration that is good PC for everyday use and especially for video editors. It has a fast 6-core Ryzen CPU and also has high memory and storage capabilities. With its high-resolution webcam and high-quality microphone, it is suitable for many applications. But without a good integrated GPU, it will not be enough for gamers looking for a device to play AAA games. Asus M241. The Asus M241 is a budget all-in-one that looks and feels like a gold iMac, but comes with Windows 10. It's not as powerful, so it's not the most powerful device for video editing, but the best device for gaming. But the lower price, ergonomic design, and high-quality built-in speakers are perfect for general purposes. Brightness could perhaps be a bit better. Apple iMac 24-inch. The first major iMac redesign in years transforms Apple's classic computer into a gorgeous all-in-one with an M1 processor, multiple color options, and a stunningly thin chassis. It's neither the most powerful nor the most versatile Mac desktop, but it's the best for everyday work at home. HP Envy 34. Creative professionals who crave a big screen with plenty of power and functionality will be well served by the HP Envy 34 all-in-one desktop PC with snappy performance and productivity-oriented features. 5K display, RTX 3060, and high RAM and SSD. It's much more expensive than other computers on this list, but it's definitely for people who want to do everything with their computer. And this all-in-one computer can definitely do everything that you need. HP Chromebase 22. The last all-in-one computer on our list is a Chromebase. It's an entry-level all-in-one with a space-saving, attractive design and a rotating display. It also has a high-quality webcam, good sound quality, and comes with a wireless keyboard and mouse. It is the easiest to use and takes some getting used to. And that's it from us. For more videos, tutorials, and guides like this, do not forget to subscribe to our channel, Bright Hustle, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.